morning, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be.
Well, my name is Jared Dukes. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So everybody, all you Pittsburghers out there, all you Yinzers, stand up. I was born in Hampton, Virginia. I'm living in Hampton, Virginia right now. So yeah, by the grace of God, I'm here doing my thing, and just, hey, having fun, enjoying life.
Yeah, my name is Andre Williams, man. Welcome, everybody. Hello. I'm originally from the great District of Columbia. Would not recommend it.
Hey, man.
For living, it's a great place to visit.
Great place to visit, but you may not want to stay long.
I don't know if I ever want to live there again, man. Moved into Virginia, man, to get my daughters just a better way of life. I love being out here. I love the opportunities that I've had that have been presented to me, and yeah, man. Wouldn't change a thing. The video that we wanted to talk about today was the difference between high value and low value men. You know, we think this is important, especially for our young men to understand, man. A lot of dudes look at football players, basketball players, people like that, and they think, oh, these are high value men. And it doesn't necessarily mean so. First, let's get the perspective from
Sadia Khan. Enjoy.
Basics, of course it's going to lead to
right.
Yeah, of course.
So I hear a lot about this high value man and high value women and all these things online, and the high value man is someone who's making over 6 figures and over 6 feet tall and whatever it is.
Like Mr. House over here. Yeah.
But what is it that men can do to become more high value than just their financial abundance and their height? How can they be a high value man, whether they have money or they have height or any of that stuff?
Have complete and utter self-control. And what I mean by that is you try and control your mind, body, and soul in a way that would lead to positive long-term outcomes for you as a man. If you get to the gym and you eat right, your long-term body will appreciate that. If you save your money, you don't waste it on alcohol and clubs and this and that, your long-term self who will be able to invest in I was going to say Netflix, not Netflix, NFTs and all that, whatever it is that businesses, your long-term self will appreciate that. If you're able to dedicate some time to some spirituality or something to disconnect from this world, your long-term anxiety will appreciate that. So a man who has complete and utter self-control and makes responsible decisions that serve him in the long run is truly high value. Somebody who can resist short-term desires and short-term temptations for long-term goals. Who can shake a man like that?
Right.
A man who can resist having sex with every single woman because he doesn't want to get the wrong woman pregnant. Who can shake a man like that? Whereas a man with no self-control, any woman can distract him, any money can distract him, any opportunity can distract him. He is malleable. You can't be high value and malleable at the same time.
6 feet of height, I don't have a six-pack, muscles and all that good stuff. You have to realize that that's all a physical expression of what's up here. That's what Sadia is talking about. And this is a psychologist, I don't have a degree, she's saying that, but I agree with that, because what you have up here, that is where your value is. Do you value yourself? Do you value yourself? Do you value who you are? The money will come. The relationships will come.
Yep.
You could be 5'2", bald head with a pot belly, but if you believe that you're going somewhere, other people will get out of your way. They'll see that. They'll see you walking with that conviction and that authority, and that's what high value is. So all you gurus out there, I challenge you, call me. Let me know. We'll have that debate. But I don't think you need to have a 6 figure, 6 feet, or a 6-pack. That's not what it is. You just have to have your mind right.
I don't think high value comes with the monetary status that I think a lot of people believe. I do think that is part of it, right? Part of being high value, but it's not. It doesn't stop there. When I look at basketball players and things like that, I don't necessarily equate them with high value men. I think being a high value man has a lot more to do than just how much money you bringing in per year, because athletes, they're getting paid for the athleticism. They've been blessed. God has blessed them with a unique set of skills,
Mhm.
right? And they're just, in my opinion, athletes are nothing but another form of entertainers. High value is a lot more than just the monetary value that you bring. It's also, what are you doing for your community, right? Because in order to be high value, you need to be somebody that is seen as valuable amongst your peers, right? It can't just be that, you know, you're bringing in a lot of money. That's great, but what are you doing that is bettering the community around you? What are your peers? How do your peers view you? Well, let's use Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Yeah.
Perfect
'Cause
example.
this
You all know what
somebody-
happened recently with Will Smith, right?
I mean, come on.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth!
He used to be the gold standard of what you want to be as a
America's
man.
sweetheart.
Yeah. I mean, do I still see him as high value? I mean, he's definitely got a lot of money. you
A lot of
know,
money.
But I don't see him as an high value man,
Right.
because he's not somebody that I would look up to. I can't imagine that, you know, his peers are looking up to him, right? And saying that this is somebody I want to emulate.
Let me ask you. So, what is it about? What do you think it's about Will Smith that has reduced his value in like everyone's eyes?
He is not the leader of his household. Men should be the leaders of their household. Men
Right.
bring that stability, a logical way of thinking, stoicism. There's a lot of things that men bring. And I think a lot of those things nowadays are frowned upon. But, you know, when you look at Will Smith and you look how he's allowed for his love for Jada, he's allowed that to pretty much control his decisions. I truly believe that, you know, if he wouldn't allow for his feelings for her to control the decisions that he makes, she probably would love him as much as she was loving Tupac. What did she do to make him who he was?
Will Smith was doing this before he got with Jada. I just personally feel he's willing to put that all on the line for his love for Jada, which, don't get me wrong, as men, we bring a lot to, you know, our household. We bring a lot to the relationship. I feel women, you bring a lot to the relationship as well, right?
course.
We just want to highlight y'all and thank y'all for what y'all do. Like, all this stuff, we wouldn't be going after none of the stuff. We wouldn't be out here getting it, I feel, if it wasn't for women in some way, shape, or form. Because really, if this world wasn't as beautiful as it's being made by women, I mean, dang, like this would just be a dreary life. But you got to understand that it's not just Jada, it's femininity as a whole. As a man, you still have to stay focused on your goals. And that is what self-control, what Sadia was talking about. Because self-control keeps you on that straight path. It's your path,
Right.
not somebody else's. It's yours. So, hey, my name's Will Smith. I'm an actor, you know, I'm an activist, you know, I'm a motivational speaker, what have you. Jada, you're here to help make this world beautiful for me. But Lord, if you weren't acting right, I love you still. But you, my dear, have to go because now I need to keep moving forward on my purpose. Like you said, you know, women respect a man like that. They want a man like that. But these are tests. I think in my relationships, I've learned this over the years.
Yeah.
Women love testing,
Of course.
but they don't want you to fail that test by doing what you don't want to do, because then she's in control. She's now the man.
Right. And no woman wants to be in.
No woman wants to
As
be
much
in
as
control.
they try to, they don't really want to be in
They
control.
don't want that.
They say they want to be in control, but that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation. There's going to be more videos on this.
Yeah, I
Trust me.
don't want to get into that. But let's get back to see what Sadia has to say.
So it's having an identity that's constructed on self-control that will make you high value. It doesn't matter how tall you are, how short you are, how rich you are, how broke you are. If you've got no self-control, you're a weak man, unfortunately. It's very difficult to have self-control. But if they can master it, they're incredible.
So what I'm hearing you say is women should really be looking for that quality in the partner they're choosing.
Self-control.
Not, okay, he's tall, dark, and handsome, or whatever it is these days. I guess women are more into like the skinny, like artistic guy, whatever. It's always
Whatever
like
it is.
changing,
It's
right? But he's a certain look and he's got a certain amount of money. He's a high value man.
If he hasn't got self-control, he's a liability to you and your children. Yeah, and you have to remember that. So
What
many-
happens when you
Yeah, that's important because men are supposed to be the leaders, like I said, of their household, right? The directions that they take within their household can impact not just themselves, but everybody around them. what's happening nowadays, right, is I'm not really seeing too many men with purpose right now. I think a lot of men they want a lot of things out of life, but they're not willing to put in that work. But when you look at the men of yesteryear and the sacrifices they made for their families and the things, I mean, men worked all day long just to make sure that they could provide for their families. Women didn't have to work. You know, I'm not saying women didn't want to work. There were some women that obviously, you know, there were some that wanted to work. I think there were a lot more that didn't. You know, it's very, very important that as a man, you stay focused, you stay on your purpose, because if you don't, like I said, you can impact more than just yourself, especially when you have a family, right? And men shouldn't have families until they're ready. But when you have a family, you know, it's a lot more impactful. If a woman makes a mistake with a family, they're going to still look at the man. That's just the nature of the beast as being men. So I don't know. What are your thoughts?
That's 100%. I agree with that. And about this purpose that men globally, well, we'll just say really in our society, right? Mm-hmm. The great United States of America, we're not seeing a lot of men with purpose. And I believe something to do with at least what we're seeing in the media, right? We see you got the Me Too movement, you got feminism, you have women taking more of a masculine approach, right? So men are like, hey, they're going to do all the work. I'm just going to relax. And pornography, videos where women are out there exploiting themselves for money. Do what you do, boo-boo. You know, that's on you. However, when a young boy who doesn't have, I would say, a masculine presence in the household raising him like the men of yesteryear, telling him, hey, what's right, what's wrong, you know, and all that, those men or those young boys are going to grow up to men, and they're not going to see women as truly are, the true essence of females. And women are going to receive that. So I think women are making an adjustment as well. And that's where the Me Too, the feminism is coming from. We take the lead. All right. So we take the lead. Take the lead. It's not something that is just given to you. Women aren't just going to entrust you as a man and say, hey, lead me, lead this family. Women expect you because you're the man, or you claim to be the man. You know, you're in that position. But a woman, they'll take that role from you real quick, and they'll have you as the backseat. But I think that that's happening because men are falling back from their rightful position as men. I think the Me Too movement was born out of that. But I think a lot of men, they're leaning more so on the masculinity of a woman, and they're pulling masculinity out of her. And now that's why you see in these videos, you got women rapping like men, and you have men singing like women. But that's a whole nother conversation, because I personally believe that there's something going on behind the scenes that is affecting that, and it's causing the youth of today to grow up in their femininity.
I think I disagree with you on just a couple things. One, a lot of our men nowadays, you know, aren't really being men, which is what's causing women to have to step up. Well, I kind of see that a little bit differently. I think that, yes, men aren't the way they should be today, but I think that's because a lot of men today are being born in fatherless homes, right? And so they're being raised by their mothers. And if you look at most women, especially since feminism really started to go crazy, I think in like the 60s, right? It's been this thing where, you know, little boys are, when it comes to women, right? Little boys are being told to, you know, respect women, which they should, right? They're being told to don't be so aggressive, you know, relax, you know. I mean, these are boys, right? Boys, that's how they are. Boys are going to be, they want to run around and play, bounce off walls, run through fences. You know, that's what little kids do, right? But then on the flip side of that, right? And so they're being told to calm down, right? Where women are being told you can be anything you want to be. You know, you can be that CEO of the corporations and things like that. And again, not saying that they can't. I'm not disagreeing with that. But when you have that disparity between how you're lifting up the girls, but then you're telling the boys to kind of calm down, that's where you start to, over time, over generations, right? You start to have men that just are weaker than they used to be. You know, I think that if you have a father in the home, right, that father in the home is the one that gives you that strong side, you know, the one that, you know, like when you're a boy and you go to your mom and you start crying, women naturally want to try to pacify a situation. That's just what women do. That's just their nature, right? If you're upset about something, they want to console you. And that's the beauty of a woman, right? But what a father does is a father says, get over it. A father says, you're going to have problems. A father is the one that's going to tell you, you're going to have to deal with these things, right? So there's just a different way of teaching, right? When women have problems, how many times have you had a conversation with a woman, right? And you're telling her, she's telling you about her day and the things that happen in her day that she's upset about. The first thing that men want to do is fix it.
Right.
You know? They're like, well, have you done this? Have you tried that?
Right.
Have you tried? Women, they don't want to fix it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times they don't want to fix it. They just want you to hear how their day went. Okay. That's the difference between men and women. And I think when you have women that are raising boys, then that's where you have this weaker generation of men. So I think that's where it's coming from. And you look back in the 80s, that's when the baby boomer era, that's when there was a great disparity in where you had marriages and you had single mothers. And that's when a lot of that started.
Sensuality is about the 5 senses. So how does she feel inside is one of those senses. How do you make her feel? And that's tapping into her brain, but that's using your brain, because if you're a high value man, which this podcast is talking about, you have a belief inside of your brain, you have standards, and you uphold that. You actually do that. Your brain is going to be connecting to her emotional brain. Your logical brain, what you're doing on a daily basis, is going to connect to her emotional brain. She's going to start feeling you. I believe every man on this planet, every man that's listening to this podcast right now, has the potential to get any woman that they ever could imagine. Whether or not you're going to do it, it's totally up to you. But I'll tell you how. Just tap into her emotions. That's it. Sadia Khan. You could watch my video right now, girl. I'm telling you, you could hear me say this. I have the confidence that any man, now she's currently taken, so to speak, but if Sadia Khan was open to communicating with another man, that's all it takes. Me, you, anybody on this planet, as long as you have the belief in yourself, or same thing that she was talking about earlier, the self-control, the belief, the standard of who you are and where you're going. That's high value man. You tap that into her emotions, she'll feel you. It's what pimps do all day, man.